Reynolds.
Thank you very much, Mr President. My question is to the Minister for Communication and the Arts, Senator Fifield. Can the Minister please update the Senate on what the Turnbull government is doing to create opportunities for audiences to access Australian arts and culture?
The Minister for Communications and the Arts, Senator Fifield.
Thanks very much, Mr President, and can I thank Senator Reynolds for her deep and genuine interest in the arts in regional areas, and we've spent some time together talking to groups in the West. Mr President, it is quite fortuitous that Senator Reynolds asked this question today, as applications for the latest funding round for the Visions of Australia program have opened. This is one of a number of programs which are designed to increase opportunities for audiences, particularly in regional and remote Australia, to enjoy different forms of arts, and recognising that the arts is not something that is solely the preserve of the cities, that the arts are alive and well in regional and rural Australia. Mr President, Visions of Australia is administered by my department, and it provides funding for exhibitions of Australian arts and culture to tour other venues with a focus on the regions in remote Australia. An example, recently this program funded the National Motor Museum in South Australia to support the tour of their Bush Mechanics exhibition. This is based on the popular TV show of the same name and focuses on the role of the car in Aboriginal life in Central Australia. The Visions funding, Mr President, will support this exhibition to tour to new places, including two very remote communities in Central Australia. The program also encourages partnerships across the collection sector, mentoring and skills transfer, and the Tamworth Regional Gallery, for example, is receiving funding to tour an exhibition showcasing the work of contemporary textile artists from each state and territory. This is a great example of a regional community developing a nationally significant exhibition that will then go on to tour other communities who might not otherwise have had that opportunity.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Reynolds, supplementary question.
Yes, thank you, Mr President. Can the Minister also explain how this program benefits audiences, and in particular in rural and regional Australia?
Minister.
Thanks, Mr President. The program really is of great benefit to audiences across Australia. It provides development funding to help with the planning and design of exhibitions. It also provides funding to help with the costs of actually taking the exhibition to tour different venues. Each tour must include at least 3 venues outside the organisation's state or territory. Tours to regional venues are given a higher priority for funding, so that particular audiences outside the major population centres who mightn't have had the opportunity to see the exhibitions otherwise will have the chance to do so. And again, Mr President, can I highlight, and I'm sure all colleagues would agree with me here, that the arts is something that is an important part of all our communities. It's not something that is just the preserve of the capitals or major metropolitan areas, but indeed it's a vibrant and important part of regional and remote Australia.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Reynolds, final supplementary question.
Thank you very much, Minister. That is very good news, and there's certainly many West Australian arts organisations I think could benefit from this. So could the Minister please advise how any arts organisation can apply for funding?
Minister.
Sure. Thanks, Mr President. As I mentioned earlier, the funding round opens today. Applications can be made through online submission to the department's website. Funding will be allocated on a competitive basis. Applications will be assessed by panels of assessors made up of external experts and internal department staff. And I would encourage all my colleagues here who take a deep and abiding interest in the arts to talk to their communities, and as senators, all of us represent regional and remote Australia, and to direct them to www.arts.gov.au/visions to see the full program, the guidelines and the eligibility. Colleagues, do note that applications will need to be submitted by Friday the 10th of March. But I do think all colleagues here have an important role to play to make sure that this particular program is made aware to organisations who can benefit.